felony on the record to be working for you. But that's also on us as a society, not just the prisons.
To a certain extent, is that also a means of justice?
To a
Committed
degree,
this crime, therefore you give up some of your rights, like the ability to maybe be hired by certain companies, things like that.
to a degree, but that's what also keeps the revolving door in the prisons open.
Do you think that public opinion on that is changing?
Yes.
Do you know how we might have seen evidence of that in the last election?
Well, I don't exactly know the last election, but I know California uses the three-strike system, that every time you go in for a felony, the longer sentence you get, and if you get 3, then you're automatically 25 to life. And I know because obviously California is a mostly Democratic state, a lot of those people have pushed back and said that shouldn't be around anymore. But I believe personally that's what keeps people, that might deter people, but I don't think that's going to work in the future. I don't think people are going to go and say, that's okay, we'll put them in for 25 life. People aren't going to.
Well, I was suggesting about the public opinion about the continuing penalties. So, for example, you were talking about you get out, you've paid your time, but you're a convicted felon, so now you can't get a job anymore. Or in many states, I'm a convicted felon, I can't vote anymore. The citizens of Florida just voted in the last election that they were not going to make that a penalty anymore, that now convicted felons who have paid their time, served their sentence, will now get their rights to vote back. There's also been a movement, especially in the Northeast, to remove questions about past felonies from job applications. And so I know that you didn't research that issue at all, you researched prison systems, but you were talking about our attitude toward prison as punishment. And so do you see this as sort of a way of changing our purpose for incarceration in the way we treat prisoners in general, or felons in general?
You're talking about like people giving back their rights after they've served.
That's one part of it, yes.
Okay, well, as for that, I think I can agree that maybe that would help them like stop committing crimes, because like as Blaine said, they said the reason that they relapse back into the prison system is because they have a felony and they can't get a job and they get pay well, and so the reason they go back to their crime is because that's a way how they provide themselves. If they do give them back the rights that it gets taken off of their background record or something like that, I think it should be depending on what type of job it is exactly. Because like there are jobs out there that are of importance, like depending on where they are exactly, and it should be investigated only the jobs that are like really important.
Were you going to say something, Ricky?
To go off that, I think prisoners, when they get in, they served all their time. I think they should get all their rights back because they served their time and they did what they had to do in order to get back into society, and so they should go into society how they were in the past, and they should have their rights taken away from them. And if they commit a crime again, then they would go back again, and just a revolving door again.
Does that apply to sexual offenders too?
Well,
Because right now they're on a registry, right? Once they get out of prison, if they get out of prison, do you think that they should not have to be on an offender registry if they?
I think they should, because I guess for like major crimes such as murder and like what you said, that's kind of a lot major than I guess like a homeless man kind of just going into jail because he needs food. So, yeah.
They should have restrictions on them, but they should be able to go back into the world how they were.
And I bring that all back is our theories for why we incarcerate people do change over time, and they, like you have waves. And what happened in California with the 3 strikes and you're out rule, and or you're going along, came with a big wave of law and order. And do you see public opinion and therefore policies switching back to more of a having rehabilitation be the primary purpose for incarceration?
I think under Donald Trump as president, you've seen that law and order kind of return as, how he's dealt with immigration, how he thought we should send people back. That's not something that President Barack Obama would have done when he wanted to send his executive order that we should make all illegal immigrants have citizenship. You've seen that policy shift, and I think you might see it shift in the next political election, that might be a big turning point, is that how Trump and whoever he is running against deals with immigration and how he wants to punish those people.
And would you then apply that then also to how we deal with our prison system and what our main goal is in incarceration? That you believe that public opinion and our overriding attitudes and goals would change?
I believe they would start to change. I feel like this would definitely affect it, especially if we had more conversations like this, and people are educated on what's happening, because I think this is something that people, they just turn a blind eye to, because it's people that, they're not people, they're convicts. I think that's something that really changes society.
Guys, you mentioned that you have come up with the final solution. Have you touched on all parts of that? Do you want to share that with us, what you think ideally the prison system should look like?
So I may, as you can probably tell from, as we, I don't know if it's drawn to conclusion, but over the overall conversation we had, I mainly did research on the mental health and a little bit of solitary confinement. Of course, my conclusion for that would be, I said before, should be like depending on the medical, mental illness, it should be like a one-on-one private session, so that way the inmate can be able to express what's going on, say symptoms, because sometimes those symptoms and other behaviors can be a little bit embarrassing, and which is why developing a bond of trust is an important factor for this. So that's my ideal way the system should handle like all the health issues. And of course, if things were to get out of hand with the inmate, of course, I believe there should also be some form of protection there. Mainly, probably ideally a guard, so that way the inmate is still under the impression that the guards are taking their job seriously, and that if something goes wrong and they mess up or like do something bad, the guard will do their job. That's one reason why there should be at least one guard on duty while with this private discussion of the, not exactly in the room where the discussion is taking place, but like outside the door if anything were to happen, they can be able to push to action. And as for the medical profession, it should show that the inmate can come to them for help and advice and need seek medical help. Would probably be the ideal thing to do. It could help them influence like what they do if they go back into society. If they see the symptoms occurring again, they could go to a medical professional.
Thank you. Nice job.